2024 marks the 80th anniversary of D-Day. On June 6, 1944, at midnight, Operation Overlord launched the landing and airborne operations of the Allied invasion of Normandy. Codename Operation Neptune was the largest seaborne invasion in history. This operation was pivotal to the liberation of France and the rest of Western Europe. U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt assigned Major Dwight D. Eisenhower in command of the Allied forces. On June 6, 1944, at midnight, more than 150,000 Allied soldiers and 23,000 paratroopers served in an effort to put an end to Nazism. 10,500 men were killed, injured, or taken prisoner.
Fast warships screen the mighty invasion fleet from enemy raiders. At 15:30, a Coast Guard flotilla of LCIs leaves, loaded with engineers, medical corpsmen, and infantry. D-Day approaches, and the ships are in their assigned positions. From the 83-foot Coast Guard rescue boats to the Navy's powerful battle wagons, the invasion fleet is moving towards France. The beach is firmly in Allied hands now, and the vast extent of the operation is visible. Now more and more troops move inland to push the enemy back. And the LSTs land their cargoes on the beach. During the daytime, there are only Allied planes in the air, but at night, German bombers harass the beachhead and drop mines offshore.
At the age of 22, St. Louisan Captain Ralph Goldsticker served 35 missions during World War II as a bombardier. It was a dangerous job that required keen awareness and precision.
I sat in the very nose of the plane, the plexiglass nose, and dropped the bombs. And I had to arm the bombs before we went to 10,000 feet. Generally, we'd arm the bombs going over the channel. They had to take the cotter pin out, so when the bomb hits the ground, the detonator would hit the explosive. You're sitting there looking out and had a great view until you see all that black flak right in front of you. Flak was our greatest enemy. I mean, the flak is an artillery shell that explodes at your altitude. They know by radio and radar exactly your altitude and where you're going to be. And it bursts into 1,000 pieces. And when I went overseas, there was 25 missions, and before D, they raised it to 30, I guess losing too many crews. And after D-Day, they raised it to 35 because the Luftwaffe had been shot down pretty well. The purpose of the 8th Air Force really was destroy the German ability to wage war. And our priorities were oil refineries, ball bearing plants, railroad junctions, and aircraft factories. That's what it bombed mostly. It was all strategic bombing at that time.
During one mission, their plane was hit and the co-pilot was injured.
Our co-pilot was injured, and a piece of flak over Munich. We were at 27,000 feet, and a burst of flak right under us and knocked out 2 engines, and a piece of flak came through the bottom of the plane. We had 70 holes, but one of them came through the bottom of the plane. The pilot sat on an armored seat, maybe a 1/4 inch thick, through the co-pilot's upper thigh and out the roof. And I was a medical officer, so I gave him a shot of morphine and sprinkled sulfa on his wound.
Fortunately, Captain Ralph Goldsticker made it safely through the war.
I participated. I'm glad I survived. That was it. After my 35th mission.
On the 80th anniversary of Normandy, at the age of 102, Ralph Goldsticker was one of 66 chosen World War II veterans to be a part of the historical D-Day event in France.
Well, I was honored to be asked because American Airlines had 66 veterans from all over the country. And I think I was asked because I flew 2 missions D-Day. It was all coordinated by Appleton, Wisconsin honor flight. And on our flight, we had 66 veterans aged from 95 to 107. And we had 66 Guardians. My son from Dallas flew with me. And there were also 20 medical personnel. There were 4 doctors and assistants with them. And there are also 50 cadets and midshipmen from the academies to help us. The thing that impressed me most about the entire trip probably is the American cemetery at Normandy. All these crosses and Star of Davids, and they're all kids. I mean, 19, 20, 21. And some of them I knew, a few. But that got to me more than anything else.
While in France, Ralph Goldsticker and his son had the opportunity to meet the United States President and the First Lady.
I met the President, and he gave me a specially minted D-Day coin. This is it for D-Day, and those are the 2 outstanding things, I think. And when we're taking a picture, the 3 of us, Jill and the President and myself, and my son was sitting on the side or standing there, and he said, "Larry, come over here and get in a picture." So my son also has a picture with the President.
The 80th D-Day anniversary event in Normandy attracted people and paratroopers from around the world to commemorate the hundreds of Allied soldiers who parachuted into Normandy during D-Day. We had a chance to hear from 2 USA families in Colorado who individually took it upon themselves to paratroop jump train prior to the historical Normandy 80th anniversary paratroop jump event. Interestingly, they were also flown in actual historical planes that transported paratroopers during D-Day.
Jumping into France was a beautiful one. We did it in nice clear days and blue skies and great open fields. It wasn't quite the rough air and difficult night that those guys jumped into, but at least it was a chance to honor them and honor their service, honor their sacrifice in a way that's, I guess, in the best way that we could do here 80 years later.
The round canopy parachute team, I just can't say enough about them. That is a life-changing group. Learning from them how to control and manage my fears as I was jumping, truly remarkable. But then to take that experience over to the beaches of Normandy and to fly over such hallowed ground. Everyone, go to Normandy on an anniversary. You will not regret it.
To do those jumps, to be able to pay honor and tribute to the men and women who gave their lives 80 years prior was one of the most memorable experiences I have in my life. And to jump out, to lead your team, and then after the first 4 seconds of pure exhilaration, then to float and realize that you're floating above Normandy, France, and landing into a DZ that was an active DZ 80 years ago, that many people did not survive the landing. It was an amazing experience, once in a lifetime bucket list.